Good morning, everyone. Happy Father's Day to all who father and all the fathers out there. Hope you guys were celebrated. Let me just put my phone number in here and pin it. 678-233-2170. Someone is saying text me. Sorry, I can't text you. But if you want to schedule a consult, you can call us or send us a message on our WhatsApp. Good morning, everyone. Hope you guys had a good weekend. My name is Aisha Chidole. I'm an immigration attorney. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, but I present clients all over the United States, both with their family immigration matters and the humanitarian-based cases. Someone is saying that you need moderators on here. Believe it or not, I do. The problem with Instagram, unlike Facebook and YouTube, is that moderators can't log in as me. So they usually have to have their name. And whenever they're on here, people ask whether they're with the firm or not. So otherwise, I do it, but the moderators are on the other pages. But again, let me block some people because some people are making some inappropriate comments on here, which is kind of ridiculous. I'm gonna report this comments because that's grossly inappropriate. Anyway, all right, guys. So today, I want to talk about, some updates to what's going on with the court case. As I'm sure you guys know, these are for the 39 countries. So just to give you like a time lapse, there were 39 countries that were banned outside of the United States. And then in the United States, they said for those 39 countries that they were going to pause approving their work permits, their green cards, and their naturalization certificate, for 90 days. This was in January, they said that. Come April, they said they were going to pause it so that they can work on new security protocol of how they wanted to review those cases. So come 90 days, which would have been April, they didn't do that. And they continued to have those cases on pause. Lawsuits were filed. And the court basically said you must stop the pause right away and start making decisions on those cases that you have had paused from people from those 39 countries. And then the USCIS then issued a notice on their page saying that they plan to comply with the judge's order, even though they don't agree with it. And they will still exercise their right to appeal, so that they were going to lift the pause. And then they filed a notice to basically preserve their right to appeal. So basically, when this types of decision happen, you need like 60 days, to file an appeal of why you don't agree with, the lower court's decision. So appeal filed, and then after the appeal was filed, or appeal notice. They've not filed like the briefing, at least as far as I know. They've not filed a briefing or anything like that. But, based on that, we're waiting on that. And then as of Juneteenth, which would have been Friday, they filed a motion to stay that court's decision. A stay basically means they're asking the court to stop the judge's decision to lift the pause, just so that they can have time to, continue to come up with a process to vet these cases. They filed it, but it hasn't been approved. As things change or as things, move along, I will let you guys know. Right now, the pause is still lifted as of today. Today's Monday, June 22nd, 2026. So the pause is still lifted. So if I were you and you have one of your cases there and your case has passed a normal timeline, but was because of the pause it has affected your case, I recommend that you try to do congressional assistance. Granted, sometimes congressional assistance is really dependent on who your congressman or senator is or congresswoman, but try and do congressional assistance so that you can get a decision on your case, ASAP. Try and get a decision on your case ASAP, before anything changes. Again, this is what we talk about when we say that immigration moves so quickly. It moves so quickly that when you're eligible for something, you want to just file and get your stuff done. Get your stuff done because you just never know what's going to happen, So someone is asking, I have a pending adjustment of status. Can I travel domestically? Well, the answer to that will depend on whether or not you have overstayed your time, whether or not you have an approved work permit, whether or not you have a real ID. So the all those things will determine the answer to that question. So without knowing your immigration history, I cannot personally answer the question. Okay, and then for those of you, I don't think I read out my number. My number is pinned here, but if you want to schedule a consultation with our firm, you can call 678-325-1037 or 678-233-2170. One of the reasons is I always say to you guys why you should be doing consultations with lawyers, whether it's at our firm or wherever else, is because a lot of times when you guys ask questions on here or asking for a friend of a friend or a cousin, we really don't know the whole scenario of the case. And some cases actually require FOIAs, especially if the person has like a complicated immigration history, for us to know what's going on in the case before we can really evaluate it, because there are just so many variables these days that it's best that you speak with a competent attorney who actually works in immigration, like meaning immigration is their job, not just like a lawyer that does like, I don't know, like family law and says, okay, I can figure it out. Like, to understand what is going on with your case or what you're eligible for. Oftentimes people might think they're eligible for one thing, but during screening, they find out that they're eligible for something else. So these are all opportunities for you to definitely do consultations if you, want to find out more about your case. Someone says, I filed my adjustment of status in January of 2026. When am I most likely to get an EAD? EADs right now on average are taking about 10.5 months. You are actually most likely to get your interview. If it's a marriage-based case, you're most likely to get your interview for your marriage-based case before your EADs. Some people get their green cards before the EADs. I have a green card on my desk that came in today for one of my clients, and this client had her interview. Actually, this was an interview that was canceled and it was rescheduled, but she didn't get to get her EAD because her process took about 8 months or so, and so so that can happen. Sometimes that can happen. Okay. I had a pending adjustment. I have a pending adjustment of status. I did my interview last September. I applied 2 years now, no change. Okay, so your interview was in September. So the question for you, this is for Tanisha. The question for you will be, first, what country you're from. I'm going to guess that because your name is Tanisha, that you're most likely from Jamaica, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. If you are from Jamaica, you're not subject to any of the pauses that existed. But after 6, so we're in June, so 10 months, I would be concerned if you've had an interview and you still have not. It means it could possibly mean that there is a fraud investigation going on, or that you should expect to receive a notice of intent to deny, or maybe you already received a notice of intent to deny. Again, this is an example of where I don't know the history of your case or what happened with your case, but I would consider that a long time and something to be concerned about. So I would want to know what happened at that interview. You can always schedule a call with us because I want to know what happened at that interview. I want to know what was submitted, what did your case file look like? Are you and your spouse still living together? All of those things to determine what the delay is, because that will tell us strategically what should be happening next. What should you be doing next to try and get a decision? Someone says, do you only specialize in immigration? Is there anything else that you are looking to seek legal counsel for? I mean, I do certain other things. I mean, I specialize in immigration. You know, I also handle intellectual property very rarely, but that's, you know, something that, you know, I've always done like my whole career. But I do mostly immigration cases. And sometimes, you know, we also handle like, we don't handle personal injury, but like sometimes our immigrant clients come to us because they have like a personal injury situation, and we refer them to any of our referral firms that we work with to help them, because, you know, a lot of immigrants don't know that they are eligible if they've been in, you know, victims of personal injury or any of all that stuff, because they assume because they're immigrants they can't, you know, apply for it. But our main practice is immigration. Yes. Is there a process for attorneys to request a status update for their clients' cases to see what is going on? Yes, and the process is different depending on what kind of case you have. If it is a humanitarian based case, attorneys have a dedicated email that they can send to do a status update. Otherwise, the status update would be done via USCIS's phone hotline. Sometimes you can even use Ask Emma to do that. And then if all else fails, like if you use a call, like a phone, like the phone line, and the client has really come out of processing time and there's no reason for them to be out of processing time, you know, you can always ask for a tier 2 officer just for them to, you know, really go in and see what's going on with that case. And, you know, if nothing yields, you know, you want to consider the next steps, which could sometimes be congressional assistance, or sometimes it could be a mandamus action. Mandamus actions all depend on your case type. I've told you guys about that. You know, it of course is an option for people, but you always want to make sure that you have a slam dunk case when you're seeking mandamus. What's happening with I-751s? I'm from one of the 39 banned countries. Nothing. I-751s for the 39 banned countries, nothing's happening with those. But those do take a long time to process. You know, most I-751s right now are taking about 3 years. Generally, a lot of cases, other than, as I said, marriage-based cases, are taking a really long time. So if that's your situation, one of the things you can do with a 751 is that when your 751 is pending, if you are eligible for citizenship, you can apply for citizenship. And then that way, what will happen is that they will schedule you for an interview for your citizenship at the same time as the interview for the I-751. And then if you pass everything, then they will, they can approve that. And again, if you want to, if you want us to assist you, or, you know, my firm to assist you, you can always comment yes on the live, and someone will reach out to you afterwards to just find out about your own particular case. And then, you know, we can take it from there. I'm from Senegal. My vow has been pending since May 2022. For the first time, my prima facie hasn't been renewed since 15 days. Is that normal? Yes, that's normal. I talk about this all the time. Prima facies are notoriously late in renewal. So meaning months late, meaning like 2 months, 3 months late. So 15 days is not really late, in my opinion, for a prima facie determination letter. They will probably still send that. So Tillette is now answering. Tillette is the one who said basically she had an interview in September, and they hadn't made a decision. I knew that there was something going on with your case. So as you have confirmed that they requested some evidence in November. Again, don't want to talk about your personal business here. I don't know what they asked you about, but that now makes sense. You know, they requested an RFE. Why your case would be delayed. I'm from Belize. I was interviewed in December and I was scheduled for an oath ceremony. Then it reverted to case being processed. I don't know. You didn't finish your question. Kenneth says, my case has been pending longer than the required time. It's time for you to do congressional assistance. Time for you to do congressional assistance if your case is pending longer than the required time, even if you're from one of the 39 countries, because right now, one of the 39, because right now in the 39 countries, the ban has been lifted. Granted, USCIS, or rather not USCIS, the Trump administration is trying to appeal that, but that has not been overturned. So, the strike while the water is hot. Like, so you want to try and get a decision in your case now, ASAP. Someone on YouTube says, is it normal to not receive a decision on VAD cases that's been pending for 3 years? Yes, VAD cases are taking 3 to 4 years right now. So you are in a normal timeline. Ella says, hello from Georgia. Hello, Ella. My daughter's name is also Ella as well. Someone says, I've been here since age 9. I'm full residency, so meaning you're a 10-year green card holder, and I've never gone for citizenship. I have all ideas are updated. I'm just not focused on citizenship, knowing it doesn't determine life choices being in the US. Well, I beg to differ, and I have a different perspective from you. And this is for chunky Caribbean fusions. So you might think that it doesn't matter whether you become a US citizen or not, but because apart from the fact that, why wouldn't you want the right to vote? And why wouldn't you want the right to make choices and decisions that affect your life and your family's life, or people like you, in terms of your policies or what you believe in come an election time. But also, when you are a green card holder, all it takes is one wrong thing with law enforcement, and you end up getting deported, and you've been in this country that you've known all your life. I'm going to give you an example. I'm sure many of you have heard of Real Housewives or whatever it is. Real Housewives of New Jersey, Joe Giudice. I remember he had been here since he was 2 years old. He moved here from Italy. His wife is a U.S. citizen. All 4 children are U.S. citizens. Have successful construction business. Decided to come on TV. And in the process, they found out there was some tax stuff going on, whether it was tax evasion, tax fraud, whatever it is, I don't remember. The bottom line is that he ended up being they found him guilty. He was arrested. He did his time in jail, and he was deported to Italy, a country that he'd never lived in since he was 2 years old, in his 40s. Like, he doesn't, so and you can see, he tried to stay there for a couple of, I think, like a year or two, and obviously just not the same. And now he moved to Bahamas, and every day he appeals to the current administration to please bring him back. He's missed so many important milestones of his daughter's lives. When he left, those kids were still in like elementary or high school. Now some of them have graduated from college, and they're living out on their own, and that's painful for someone. So essentially what I say to you is that you said it doesn't determine your life choices in America, but it does, because it just takes one thing, for you to be deported for whatever reason. So your goal should be to finish up your immigration process, meaning become a U.S. citizen. And once you become a U.S. citizen, then do you. So that's why my opinion is different, about that. RK Germany says, I'm waiting for your response. I don't know what your question was. My aunt had her interview for her I-485 on June 16th. And she checked online. It says, USCIS is actively reviewing your case. What should she expect now? That's normal. USCIS will change your case to that until they make a decision on your case. Okay? Some of these questions are so long. Let me see if I can answer it. So this person on Facebook says, good morning. We've sent 2 letters of evidence for the same documents. My husband's previous dead wife's death certificate from 2016. They have now requested a 3rd one. We have given 1 photocopy, and the last one was the original, and now we'll send another original. These are original documents. Immigration is stating they are blurry, and then stating that the original is too small. Unbelievable, as they are originals. I told my husband we should have them with a letter written by an order of commission. That's unfortunate, and that's annoying. this, like something like this is something that I would have loved to see what you submitted or before you submitted it, to give you my feedback. Because if I don't know where the country or what country the person is from, they should be able to get a certified copy that's legible. And that should be submitted to USCIS so you don't have to keep doing this. But again, without knowing your situation, that's unfortunate. Marsha says, good morning, attorney. Happy belated Father's Day to your husband. Thank you so much. Thank you. He had a good day. My daughters and I took him out for lunch after church. Someone says, can you help me with my citizenship? Yes, we can help you with citizenship. We handle citizenship cases. You can call our office, 678-325-1037 to schedule a consultation. Again, guys, move, just, you got to move with your cases, because I'm telling you guys, like, I can't even keep up, like, with, how quickly immigration stuff moves. And then, sometimes people make statements like, oh, well, I'm just not going to file, or I'm just going to wait till 2028. Do you know what's going to happen in 2028, 2029? Do you know who's going to be in office? How do you know this is not going to be the same policy? Do you even know if you will not have been deported before 2028? Like, so, when you are eligible for something, you should be filing for, an application. Okay. Okay, so Emma says she's from Ohio and died in Ohio. I'm Canadian. My husband is American born. Your husband can check through Vital Check to try and get a death certificate there. They're pretty good at getting proper death certificates. I don't know if Ohio is listed. Most states are listed, but there are some states or counties that you have to go physically to get that. But that would be the first place I would say he should check. Okay. Wesley Sniper. Isn't there an actor called Wesley Sniper? Okay, so it says, I'm a green card holder, but I have an old small misdemeanor. Can I travel internationally? Well, I need to know what the old small misdemeanor is, because what is small? What are you considering small and old? How old? My mother came on a B1, B2 and found out she was sick, got treatment, but ended up overstaying. I applied for an extension, but was denied because the RFE wasn't submitted by a person during the form. I was being scheduled. I don't know. I'm confused. You didn't finish your question. Again, guys, you have to finish your questions so that I can be able to answer them. So there are a lot of questions here that are incomplete. My dad lost his green card while on vacation. We've been waiting 2 years for it. For his replacement. Is that normal? 2 years is long. A year is not long. Replacements take a long time. But what you can do is you can get an I-90. Obviously, if you've applied for it, you should have an extension on your the receipt notice should have a 2-year extension. And if the 2-year extension expires, you can schedule an info pass to have it stamped for an additional year extension, so that even though you're waiting for the actual card, the stamp verifies that he's a green card holder, and it's just that his case is pending. If he is eligible for citizenship, I would say apply for citizenship, just because, it does take time, so. We sent an RFE response about medicals almost a month ago. It was delivered by delivery service, but USCIS hasn't received the response to us letting us know they got it. It depends on your case type. It's not all the time that USCIS will notify you that they have received it, as long as it shows that it was delivered. Make sure you save your delivery confirmation. One thing, I don't know if you guys know this, but that when you mail something, after 4 months, it disappears. So meaning, if you put in the tracking number online, the tracking number will disappear. So you want to always make sure that you save it to show proof of delivery, or whatnot. If you just sent your RFE a month ago, you're still at a normal time. Honestly, there is no published time of when an RFE decision is going to be made, because an RFE is based on different, officers reviewing the case or whatever it is that they're requesting. In your case with a medical, it depends on your case type. If it's a valid case, it could still take longer than 6 months, 8 months to get you scheduled for the 485 interview, because they will still schedule you for that. If it's not a valid case and it's just a regular family or marriage-based case, if you've not heard anything in 6 months, you definitely want to reach out to see and make sure that that file was received. Okay. Someone's asking how long. Oh, I gotta jump off, guys. Well, I hope you guys have a great day today. Again, our number here is 678-325-1037. If you want to schedule a consultation, you can also comment yes, to have someone reach out to you via DM, if I didn't get to your question. I'll be on live again tomorrow at 10 a.m. And as always, I will keep you guys posted as I find out any new immigration news or anything that concerns my audience. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.